Good evening, dear viewer. So this video is regarding importing data into Origin and even basics of plotting data and even some tricks of plotting data. This part of the video or the initial part of the video is recorded post session since I forgot to hit record during the Teams session. So import wizard is a powerful tool through which you can import data into Origin. It's easy to import data and even manipulate or even add columns so that it's easier to do the analysis later on. So I'll just give you a preview of what could be done. So if I click on let's say this file, add it. You could select multiple files, by the way. I'm just selecting one file right now, and I hit finish. You see you get these many extra columns. If you look at the data file, for example, this is an impedance file from vein care instrument. So you have frequency as the first column, resistance and reactance as the later columns. You can also note that the reactance is in negative and the frequency is in the first column. But you could see here that long name and units and even comments have been added. The imaginary part of the impedance is changed to positive values, while the frequency is moved to the third column, and you have all these extra columns which you can plot data and analyze later on. You could see that long name is already been provided along with units wherever necessary, and if we could plot it, for example, I get the Greek lettering directly. So now let's see how do we create this import filter. First, you click import filter as usual. Select which files do you want. I have this file already open in Excel, so I can select this one. I could re-import. For now, let me select the second file. Click on add file. You can add multiple files. Again, click OK. When you start with none, since you are preparing a fresh import. Here, let the template be set to default. Here you can select clone if you already have edited your data before and you want to clone another data into the same kind of worksheet. You could do that here, clone, and there would be other templates too that you could do. I encourage you to learn more later on. And here in import mode, you have several options. You can either replace the existing data, uh, which you should not do if you are importing different kind of data or data of different samples together. Starting new books could work if you want to have one book for each of your sample, but if you are using learning edition as me, then you would be restricted to only 12 windows. Therefore, I recommend you not to do that. So starting new columns could work too, but if you're going to do it as me, and if you have to import or if you have to calculate uh, certain parameters later on, then adding new columns would be better. So for that you need to have empty space in your sheets. Therefore, uh, I recommend starting new sheets for each of your sample. So select start new sheets so that in one single book you can have multiple sheets of for each of your sample. Click on next. Here you could give auto-determined header lines if your data file is easy to read by the origin, but most of the time it isn't. So again, subheader lines, it will read it automatically, but I want to input the header lines, or sorry, the long name and the units later on in the import file, in the import wizard. So right now I don't want it to select anything else. So for subheader lines, I create 0. So all of them are disabled. And right now, if you are seeing gray color, means origin is taking all of this as the data. But as we see here, frequency, resistance, and reactance, they are not data. So I can either click on 1, indicating that these many number of lines are not data, or I could highlight it, click on refresh, and it's going to take that line as the last line of the header file. So it's going to ignore these many lines, and the later lines are going to be considered as the data lines. You could increase the number of preview lines, by the way, if you wish to. Right now I have set it, the default is 50 and it's set to 50. There are a few other things which you could check, which will be described later on using another import file. Here, instead of auto, you could check on this worksheet with file name. So if you name your file properly, then you could directly give the name of your file as the sheet name. This is going to be easier later on, because while plotting the graph, you can use this name as a name for the legend. So manual renaming could be avoided. You could check on workbook with file name, but if you check on this box, then if you import multiple files, then the workbook will be named as the last imported file name. You could do it if you want to, or else if you can set some variables, then you can check on this, and the variable name selected from the worksheet could be put as the workbook name. This data file does not have any kind of variables in its preamble, so I will leave this unchecked. Then there are other things that you could append. I don't use any of these, but you could do it if you wish to. Delimiter is a character, you could say, which separates the column in a data file. CSV, for example, is comma separated values. So comma is used as data separation. You could leave it checked if you know if your data is CSV, or else you can simply check delimiter. If your data file is or data values are separated by tab or space, you can check on this tab, space, or if it's something else, you can click on other and give any extra character to, for example, slash. You could also check on fixed width if your data is going to be of, or the values are going to be of fixed width every time. As you can see here, mine is not as such, so that is going to be unchecked here. You could also select on number of columns, the total number of columns that you are importing. If you have a lot of a lot more number of columns, again, text qualifiers, what is defined as text. If something is inserted within quotation marks, then it's going to be selected as text, or a single apostrophe mark, that could be selected as text. Mine doesn't have any, so I keep it as none. You could also import custom date formats too. You have several options, and even custom time format. I encourage you to go through it and see what each thing does. Sparklines is something like you get another row here, giving a preview of what that column is. Sometimes it's useful, but I usually don't keep it. So you can keep it if you wish to. One more thing to add, you can set the column designation right from here. You can change it from here. I would like you to try different options here, or you could individually go here and set column designation. You could keep it as X, Y, Z, whichever you wish to. You could also do it in the advanced filter option, sorry, in the advanced import wizard option, which could be taught later on. You could also set the format, whether the column is text, time, uh, numeric, what kind of numeric data is it, and much more. So the later part is going to be described uh, as recorded in the session.
All right. Now, next section is partial import. Again, not useful in this data file. I'll show it to you again how it is used in the next one. Basically, you can exclude a certain column if you don't want it in your origin file. Then you click on Save Filter, and you can give a description of your filter if you ever forget what it is about. Give a name, and then applicable file. So if you know that every time you're going to export your data file in a single type of file format, then you can give that file format name. In this case, it's given .csv, and a wildcard, a star. So wildcard basically means you can give any character there and it will take it up. So if you give your data file a certain name, maybe every time you are going to end it with, let's say, CV, then you can give CV or star CV dot CSV. Then every time you drag and drop your origin file that has CV character in front of .csv, this import file will be automatically selected. You will also be given option to select other import files too, but this is easier if you do so. This is the next part, which is kind of challenging to do so, I would say, because it was challenging to me. That is, you go to advanced filter options. Now let me describe to you what has happened from the initial data file of only frequency resistance reactance to this. Okay, all of those has been done here. So first one, by the way, this script is called as lab talk. If you have received the whatever flyer that you received before, you might have read there lab talk. So lab talk is a programming language used in Origin. You don't need to know about anything about programming to do this, because all of the help files are available in Origin website. Okay, you, let's say I want to move the frequency which was in the first column to the last column, in this case the third column. Okay, ignore all the columns after, like after C. Okay, because D, E, all of them are done later on. So as far as Origin knows, until now it only knows 3 columns. So frequency was the first column. As if you're confused, as you see here, frequency was the first column, and resistance and reactance was the later columns. So that's all it knows right now. So what I want, because of my use case where I had to move frequency to the third column because I needed to use this for some other software, I moved frequency to the last column. So I typed in how to move columns in Origin using LabTalk. Okay, you will get an Origin help file website, and from there you read what commands could be given. And that's what I did here. So column move range, which column to move? So only first column. If I want multiple columns, I can select multiple columns too. So I moved the first column, operation last. So it moves the first column to last. Then I want my frequency, so not the frequency, the imaginary impedance value to be positive value, because initially the values will be negative. It's going to be dark. Okay, so reactance values, if you see here, these are all negative values, but for me to plot it, I want it to be positive. So I multiplied by -1. It's simple, column B times -1, just as in Excel. Then I added extra 4 columns. So column plus 4 and worksheet column 3 type equal to 4. This is actually going to set what kind of column I want or column designation, whichever I used before in import wizard, the same thing, but here using code. So if I type 4, it's going to make the third column as X. So you see here, this is the third column and it has changed it to X. I can show you this. Okay. Where is it? So I have written here column type 1 means Y, 2 means disregard, 3 means Y error, 4 means X, 5 means label, 6 means Z, and so on. Again, you can get this from the origin help files. Then so now giving labels. The data file did not have labels, like it just had resistance reactance, but I want these. So column A in square brackets, if I give L, it is going to give the long name as Z dash and Z minus Z dash frequency, so on. And later you will see column D as /G bracket E. Basically /G is going to give you Greek letters and E for epsilon. Although in the column it's not going to show it as such, while when I plot it as a graph, it's going to convert it to a Greek letter and so on. Then I gave column comments that Z dash is resistance, so on. And again, I gave units. You can also give column A square bracket U for unit. I don't know why did I do this, because I was learning at the time. I did not bother to change it because it works. And then next thing, where I told creating a user parameter row for me to change any values later on. So create a worksheet user parameter, one user parameter, and that user parameter I want it to be named as thickness. I gave an M to denote that this should be in meters. That is for my reference. Then I have to give a default value for now, because if I simply leave it as empty, none of the formulas will work. So I give it some random value. I gave 5 into 10 power minus 5 as a default value. And in the formula, see, C set value, that is column set value, column D as formula. So I have typed the formula here. And if I show you the formulas back, for epsilon prime, epsilon double prime, tan delta, and even tau. Okay, these are the formulas which I have typed into origin right here. And if you can see here, this I have a thickness parameter, and the thickness parameter I have used D1, because if you see here, row long name is A, B, C. Wait a second, this is not there. So next one is D, thickness. So I gave D1, 1 is the column. So you give D1 here, which means that it will take whatever values that you provide here, okay, into the formula. And so on. So I set multiple formulas here. You click on finish and done. You got a new data with all the formulas here. Now, if I plot it, I'll go more into plotting later on, but just to simply show it to you, if I simply plot it like this, as you see, I did not give a name or y-axis title, but it automatically took it as epsilon prime and frequency along with the unit. Okay. Now let me show you another one with the different file. This was from NF LCR meter. Okay. Now if you see here, my data file has a lot of extra parameters written into it. Okay, it's not shown there. Let me open it up in. Okay, Again, I have to remove data. View. Okay. So there is a lot of other extra data, or you could call it as a preamble in the data file. Okay. Some of these would be useful. Okay. For example, if I had forgotten what starting or ending frequency I had used, or what is the number of points you could calculate, but what is the how much averaging have I done, or how much voltage that I have given. Yeah, measurement voltage. How much voltage I have given. Let's say I have forgotten all of this. But if the data file provides this, I can import it into origin. So how do I do that? Again, I don't need all. These are not data points. So I have fixed the number of data, like fixed number as 33. So 33 lines would be ignored, and from the 34th line, data starts. Here, if you see, I have checked specify location variable names and values using character positions. So if my instrument is going to give me data file every time the same way, then measurement voltage will always be in the same line. So I can fix that line as my variable so that I can use it every time when I import the file. So how to do that? See, if you see here, the starting frequency, for example, starting frequency is in starting frequency is in H027. All right, so I click on this, or you can even take a drop down H027. Yeah, so I highlight it, click refresh, then it's going to select what's the value. It's going to automatically take what is the line start and line end. Okay, and then you can enter the variable name, or else you can even extract the variable name from file. If you want to do so, then again you highlight it, click this, it's going to select the variable name. Then you click on add, and it's going to add it here. So here I added starting frequency, ending, measurement voltage, and measurement points. And as I said before, worksheet to file name, that's done. Workbook to workbook with variable. So I have taken measurement voltage as my workbook variable, because if I measure with different voltages, I want them to be written in a single workbook. And yeah, these things I already told you. See, if you see here, there is time. Let me show you back the data file. So contrast to the previous data file, this has a serial number, the number of time passed, frequency, and result. If you see, there's one more column, 0. 0 means status, like status is okay. 0 means nothing is wrong. 1 or 2 means something else is wrong while during the measurement. I don't want it in my origin file, so I want to exclude these two. And the later would be real and imaginary part of the impedance. I don't want these files. So for that, I can use partial import. Okay. So for all files, I want to start from the second column, that is here. Okay. This is the frequency part. I want to start from the second column. I want to go up to the sixth column while skipping one column. So it will skip one column, read two column, like that. Okay. You might need to play with your data file to see how it plays out. Okay, which data files you want. In my case, I did not want the first column and the third column, so this worked. This one came extra because I started importing it while in graph mode. Just one moment. Let me go back here and import it. Since I'm here, I'll do it multiple files. Ah. Skip. Yeah. Again, say filter, do whatever you want here. And same as before. Delete column A because I did not want time. Deleted it. The rest are same as I showed you before. Okay. And I click finish and you will see now I have the workbook name as the measurement voltage variable, which was 10 millivolt. And I have new sheets with all the names of the file name. Okay. And rest are the same as you saw before. Okay. That's how we do it. Let me show one final importing filter. So this was LSU data from the recent procured instrument Origalis. Okay. So click and drop. How do you do it? Let's say okay. So I can drag. Let me start a new book. Click, drag, drop it. It will ask me for what connector to use. A use connector. Connector is something it links to the original file so that you can't manipulate the data. You can look into original help videos regarding that. I don't use it. Yeah, so this is an import file that I did. So I simply clicked and dragged it into origin. It asked me which connector, which import filter to use. I click on the filter that I had done before and done. So from the filter, as the ones that I have showed you before, I have taken some variables and created as a user parameter rows. So for that, let's say this. Okay, see, add page, create user parameter rows for each variable. So if I click this, whatever variables that I select, those will be given as a user parameter rows here. Okay, so that will be useful for as a quick glancing into what kind of data that you have. Yeah, so that's one way to do it. So that's all about importing data file into origin. So do you have any questions in this? So what I have right now are impedance data. So I'll use that. Let me just go through plotting my impedance data and different things that I put in for plotting a data. Okay. So for impedance data, I want a real and imaginary part of impedance. This is too noisy. I'll delete this. This is a bit nice. Now for impedance data, the rule is the X and Y axis has to be in 1:1 ratio. Okay. Not all of your data needs to be like that, but this one supposed to be like that. So I can click on size, link X and Y axis with the ratio. If I put 1 here, so it will be in 1:1 ratio. I click OK. So now the graph is in 1:1 ratio. I want it to be completely boxed, so I can click on layer frame. So frame is done. I want it to be a bit thicker, so let me do it to. I don't want the label to be reactance. I want it to be my sample name, right? Like how we always do. So I can click on this legend, update legend. So here, I guess you would usually have something like this, one of this. I don't know what the default is. Okay, because I have changed my default here. You can do whatever changes that you want, and you can save it as default. So it will be your default every time. So you can from one of this, you can go to custom, then click on either drop down or this, and you'll get a long list of what you want it to be. Since in our import filter, I have chosen it, chosen the worksheet name to be my file name. That seems easier. So I can select at WS, that is sheet display name. Okay, if I select that, that would be highlighted here. You could also note that it's not just a single naming scheme. So you don't you can't you don't need to restrict it to just sheet display name. I can put at another at L, sorry, at L. So it will also include the long name of the graph along with my worksheet display name. I don't need it, so I will remove this here. You could also do it from here also. So now if I plot it, it will, I'll show it. Why not? So you see, it took both my sheet display name and also the y-axis name. Okay. So that's how you could, yeah. Um, no, not as far as I know. These are the predefined ones. You could experiment. I haven't done it myself, so I can't answer you. Okay. There are a few examples. I don't think this would be helpful. You just test it and check. Okay. I'm not sure. And there are some additional format. I haven't gone through this, so I can't give you much help into that. Okay. Then what else? I don't want these to be like this, so I will change this. I want it to be in decimal, fine. I want the display units to be in, let's say, 10 power 6. So it will give me nicely. Okay, I'll give 10 power 5. Okay, that's done. Okay. Now you see, I want to do the same thing for the bottom axis too. So what I can do, I can right click on it, maybe left click once to highlight, right click on it. Does right click directly work? Yeah, even right click directly works. You can give copy format. Okay, so whatever formatting that you do, let's say you do it bold, whatever things that you want to do for your axis, you can do everything for one axis. You copy format, let's say, let me give all and paste it here. Again, you can choose if you want to apply only a single kind of format, you can choose whatever that you want. For only, let me give all right now. So all of the formatting has been applied, including the rotation, which I didn't want. So copy and pasting format is something, a useful tool, again, to do a repetitive task. Let's say once you are done, why did this come? Okay, I don't know why did that come up. Okay, once whatever formatting that you are done, once done, let's say you want to do it again and again for multiple graphs. You can give batch plotting. So batch plotting, since you have done it for different sheets, you can click select sheets. Okay, so it will look at different sheets with same kind of data, and you can plot it together instead of doing it one by one. So whatever formatting that you have done for the first graph, the same thing would be applied for every other graph. So let me select some, let's say I select 3 of this. Now I have 3 options here: active graph, individual graph, or one new graph. So active graph means whatever data that I have selected, it will be plotted onto this graph. Okay, with whatever settings is done for this graph. Individual graphs means it will do separate graphs individually. And one new graph means it will take this theme and it will create a new graph that has these 3 graphs together. Okay. For now, let me use individual graph. If I do individual graph, I can give what name should the graph to be. Again, sheet name would be easier for me, so I can give a sheet display name. I haven't tried a short name and long name separately, so I simply give sheet name for both of them. And I have 3 new graphs with the sheet name as the graph name and also the legend. However, I chosen it to be previously. Okay, this is out of bound. I can change it to fit page to layer or layer to page, and it fits properly too. Okay, fitting page to layer or layer to page is something I'll tell you later on. That's it. This is done. You have done it for one origin file, but you want to do it for a different origin file. Do you need to do the same thing again? No. So for that, once your graphing is done, whatever changes that you want to do, you can click on File, Save Template As. Okay. So here you can give a name. I have done this previously, so you can give a name for this is something that I've done previously. So this is impedance plot, so I can click on impedance plot. You can give a description, whatever things that you have done for this graph, if you ever forget, and you can choose where it to be, where do you want it to be saved. By default, it will be in your user files folder, and actually you can share it to someone else too. Okay, if you wish to. Then you can give a image preview. Those things are there, and you click on OK, and this will save as a template. How is this useful? So let's say I want this. I want these to be plotted. So I go to this area that is template library. So click on template library, and whatever templates that I've created before will be shown up here. Since this is a impedance graph, I can click on impedance plot, and it's been plotted. I can do it how many ever times I want. If you see here, it's still 5,000, not 10 to power 4, 10 to power 5, because when I did this template, I did not know that I could do the 10 to power 5 thing. So I haven't updated this. Let me go back, and let's say I want to plot real or imaginary dielectric. Okay, if you directly plot it, it's going to plot it as a linear. The linear scale would be used. Okay, but for plotting this, I want logarithmic scale. So I have set it up previously, and I can click on this. Click on where is this dielectric plot, and I have it in logarithmic form. I have extra legends because I had plotted all the 5 graphs and then made a template. That's why that's extra legend. I can simply give update legend. Okay, and it updated. So creating a template library is a very nice tool for you to do, or for you to plot multiple graphs at once, multiple data points. Okay, that's as I was saying. Yeah, so you can use merge. So basically, what kind of in what orientation do you want it? Okay, like which graph do you need to be first? Those kind of things, and keep the source graph. If you check it, then whatever graph that you had originally, it will be kept as is. And if you uncheck it, these graphs will be deleted, and a new graph like the merged graph will be created. Rearrange layout, it's straightforward. A number of rows, columns, and direction, again straightforward. And what kind of, if you want any gap between the graphs, okay, you can give them as you wish to. And what else? Yeah, the page setup. If you give auto, then whatever layer frame that you have, the page will be set up as per the layer frame. Okay. By the way, this is called as a single layer. Okay, the one box, because you have one graph, that is one layer. Okay, so according to the layer frames, so if you have 4 of them, then 4 of them together, how much size does it need? It will automatically take the page setup according to the layer frame. But sometimes you would not want that. You can change it if you wish to. Then scale mode, fixed factor, and auto. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't work. So what I have limited myself to is fixed factor as 1. So any kind of rescaling it does, the elements, that is the numbers and even the titles, those will be scaled according to the layer frame. If you give 2, it will be double, and if you give 0.5, it will be half of it, something like that. You can play around with it and verify. Label, it will give you an extra label there. So as you see here, I have a new graph with all of them together. So you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are the layers of this. Okay, if I go in here, double click, I can input extra data into that. Let's say I want to input even the imaginary impedance, E double dash. into the first layer. So I can click on that, click this arrow. I can change the order to which one do I want. If I want to be in front of the other, I can do that by reordering this. And if I click apply, you can see both of them have been plotted here. Okay. If I want something else to be plotted here, I can go to layer 2 or layer 3, whichever I want. And the bold one is the one that's already been there in that layer. I can click on the next one, input there, apply, and that's plotted there together. Okay. So if you have different kinds of data together in one layer, you can use this. Now, all of them are pink. I don't want them to be pink. I want some colors. For your data plots, you have chosen some color scheme. Let's say red, blue, or something. But every time you have to go and search it. Or sometimes, let's say you have done it in one origin file. You are doing some other origin file for the same samples, but different characterization. For that, you need to go back and check which are the colors that are used before. It's tiresome. So what you could do is, let's say you go to the colors, double click on any data. Wait a moment. Okay, let's go here. Okay, so you can go to any color palette. Okay, just get into this menu. If you see here, I have done a customized color for myself, that is ZTIC colors, where these are the colors that I want the data plots to be. Okay, this will always be available to me. So how to do this? You can either you can go to any of them. Okay, you can see a small arrow here. You can click on that. Why did that? Click on that, go to more. A new pop-up window will come up, and from here you can click on new, or you can choose whatever existing colors are there. You can do that, or you can click on new, and now you are given a empty palette. From here you can choose which colors you want. Let's say I want some this color. Okay, then I will, where is it? Add as new. So first one is red, second one is green. I don't want this to be red. I will do it something else. I click, let's say this, I'll replace it. So the first one is replaced. Then I can give some more color. Let's say this. My color selection is not that good, so don't judge me on that. Add as new. And let me do one more. Let's say this, add as new. Okay, it's done. Now I can give a name, whatever name that you want it to be. Give a name and click OK. Then you'll get a your color scheme will be added here. Added here in this. Okay. I'll not save this because this color scheme is ugly. I don't want this to be in my palette. And let's say you are not very good with choosing colors, then you can take a drop down, the dropper, and click on any colors that you that seems good. Okay, that's highlighted. Now you can replace it for a newer color. Or else, let's say you want something else which is much more newer, fancier. You can go to this Coolers website, get whatever color gradient that you want, copy the hex code from that and input it here. Okay, and that whatever color that you see in the website will be added here. Even you can do that. So once added, as you see here, the color should be listed in this list. And from the custom color list, you can load and choose your color, so that in whatever origin file that you open, your color palette will always be there. And you can change the color however you want it to be. All right. Now, if you see, it's a single graph, but there are two layers. Okay, what are these layers? The first layer is my scatter plot of the conductivity. The second layer is You could even see here. The second layer is the line plot of the fitting that I've done. If you have ever plotted multiple data points together, you'd see that you can't do different kind of data plots within the same graph. The reason being, if you select all of them and plot it together, all of them would be bunched together as a group. You could see that by clicking here, and you see that there's a different tab called as group. So all of your data points are grouped together. If you do independent, then you can independently change the different aspects of your data points. If it's dependent, then whatever's given here, the data plots are going to be plotted according to these rules. Again, if it's grouped or not, you can look at this symbol, a group of people together. So it means that they are grouped. And you could also see it here, G1. So group 1 in this layer, G1, group 1 in this layer. Okay. Within a single layer, you can have multiple groups also. So different groups can be changed together. Now coming back to this, if you see here, my data plots are from 0 to 4, and they are according to like the color scheme that I have created, because my edit mode is independent, and the color scheme that I have chosen is, where is it? The ZTIC colors. Oh, no, this is too much. It still works. Okay, ZTIC colors. So the initial 4 colors will be used for the initial 4 plots. If there is extra plots, then the later colors will be used. Okay, and again the symbols you can change up and again save it, so that even your symbols could change according to whatever what do you say that, whatever increment that you have given. Okay, I'm fumbling for words. So if you double click on that layer, as I have told you before, if it's grouped together, you can see that all of them will be selected and G1 would be written. So that is group 1. So I can put extra plots here and have another group as group 2. So group 2 can behave differently from group 1. Okay. So how is this useful? Because you don't need to individually go and change the color for each plot manually. So it will do that automatically. If you want extra layer, you can put a new layer. What kind of layer you want, you can choose. And from to the new layer, you can add whatever data points that you want. So that's how you use layers in Origin, so that you can have different kinds of data, or especially used for fitting. Okay, and you can plot them together. Okay, the keen-eyed among you might have seen that among the different tools that I have this one highlighted. So enable or disable anti-aliasing. Those who have played games before, or those who have worked with graphics before, might have already come across what anti-aliasing is. For example, if you see here, I don't know whether it's seen properly. Focus on this top and bottom here. You'll see that the lines are jagged, right? Because the anti-aliasing is disabled. See what happens if I enable this. Any changes? No. Okay, some change happened. Let me zoom out and check. I don't know. It seems good in my laptop, but it doesn't in the projection. Anyway, I recommend that you always enable this. Okay, so if you forget, no problem, because you can select it, create the graph, create the template. So every time when you use the template, this anti-aliasing will be enabled by default then. Okay. So this is an impedance fitting which was done elsewhere in different software. And from that, I got these parameters, okay, for different variables, which I can put it into a formula so that it will give me a fitted value. Okay. And this formula is one that I have typed here. Where is it? Yeah, these two formulas. Okay. So the real impedance and the imaginary impedance, a huge formula, but you have to sit and write it down and hope it works the first time that you do it. And once done, once you have written the formula, you can ask the formula to fetch the data from a different sheet so that you don't need to fumble in a single sheet. So for that, you have to give some variable names. I have given resi for resistance, CP1, and power 1, that is CPU has a power. So that has power 1. So I have used those variable names in the formula, and I have asked the script to fetch the variable or the value of this variable from parameter book. So param dot from sheet 1. So since this is my first sheet, all of my data files, sorry, all of my parameter values are in the first sheet of parameter workbook. So from sheet 1 and in column 2, row 1, 2, 3, 4. I have arranged it that way. So these variables, the values should be fetched from these rows, from these sheets, from those books. Okay, and that will be input into this formula, and it will be calculated and given as follows. So for a different sheet, let's say this sheet, if you see here, the sheet name is sheet 4 because in sheet 4 I have these values. So these variables would be used in that formula. How is this useful? Because if I've done this for this sample, I can copy and paste the same origin file there and input the new values into this. I don't need to fumble around into going here, and I don't need to change the values here, because sometimes we are humans, and while deleting or pasting something, some extra character would be input. If something goes horribly wrong, then you will see error. Then you'd know that you have done some error. If not, you would simply trust that you have done everything right, and the values that would be way off from the actual values. Okay, then you need to fumble around where the actual error had happened. So instead of that, if you do it separately, then it's easier to repeat the same task every time.
Hello. This part of the video is again recorded post session because I forgot to explain this during the session. One another main thing that most scholars, including me, fail to do is export a proper graph into Word, especially for research articles. I have seen research articles where the uh, the graph title or even the graph uh, access labels and titles and even the legends way small or way too big than the uh, page of the word file. So that's basically because people usually do not set the size, or sometimes you even set it, but when you export into the or when you put the image into Word, the size is way off. So let me simply demonstrate it for now how it usually goes on. So let me select these four graphs. This is a graph of Wagner's DC polarization for one of my samples. So let me select merge graphs. All of these are explained. Uh, Let me give a bit more vertical gap. Let's say 4. For some reason the yeah, the axis title of my bottom axis is not shown in the first two graphs. Anyway, let me correct it later. uh, I'll keep everything default. It may not be default for you, but it's default for me here. uh, Again, I have kept the fixed factor 1. Let it be like that, and I hit OK. So I get a new graph. So at this point, that's what most people will do. So they might simply select it. They see the size to be 22, so they think it's fine, and save the picture. So I'll show you one way of saving the picture. The usual way is you go here, go to export, open dialog. You could do that, or the other way to do it, or the way that I do, is I hit Control G. So this will pull up advanced export graph menu. So you can do several changes here, and once it's done, you can go to this triangle and save it as default, so that every time you pull up this, whatever settings that you have done previously will be used again. So I usually save the image type to be TIFF. uh, which graphs to save. You have these options, and what kind of name do you want. This is the one that I use. I usually save it to the folder where I have my origin file. Graph theme, you can, if you keep original, then whatever theme that you have, sorry, whatever settings that you have done for this graph, that will be saved as is. But you have several options too. For example, there are themes here for specific yeah, you have one here like physical review letter. So theme of their uh, journal is applied to that graph. You can save your own theme and export it in that theme for your particular graph if you wish to. Margin control, uh, you can uh, experiment and check which fits you best. I usually keep tight so that I don't have any extra white space after my graph elements. Here you can set the page width of your graph. Again, you can let me set it to auto for now. So no previous available, that's fine. And resolution, you can set it to, I mean, I guess 300 could work. I usually keep 600. So, and I hit OK, and this will export to a TIFF image will be exported to my project folder. You could do that. For now, I'll show you another way, that is exporting graph through app, that is send graph to Word. So it asks which folders to export. For now, let it be, I just only want some specified graph, that is in this case just this graph. I click this arrow, I hit OK, and I have this graph to export. Uh, you can let it add a metadata to as a alternate text that is used in Word. Uh, Keep page at 100% so that the entire width of the graph is expanded to the width of the page, or at least except for the margins in the Word. You can load a file if you want. You can even save the file if you wish to. You will get another option here if you have already if you already have a Word file open, which I'll show you to you later. So let me hit OK, and in a couple of seconds a Word file will open, yeah, with the graph in the document. So for now, let me check on this as the layout option and move it to center. So let me zoom in a bit. Yeah, so if you can see, this is the picture border. The entire border is covered within the margins of the page. uh, in my case, the margin is set as 1 inch on all sides. And if I select on again picture format again, you can see the width of the picture to be around 15.92. Now let me show you what the problem is. Let me type the same thing, time in second. Yeah. So you can see that my text, uh, let me change the font again. Let it be, oh, let it be Times New Roman, and let it be 12. So a size 12 in Times New Roman is way bigger than, let's say this, yeah, 22 size Times New Roman. So why did that happen? Some of you might have already guessed the reason. So if I double click on this empty space, you see the print or dimension. So the width is said to be around 440 millimeters. So the size is 22 for 440 millimeter width of the page. So that's not what we have in Word. You could do this for your posters and make sure the graph has enough quality for your posters if you want to. But for putting this graph in Word, you want the size of the graph to be the size of the page in Word, which is usually A4 sheet. So let me do that right now. As I showed you before in Word, if you leave out the margin, the size of the picture width will be around 16 centimeters. So 15.92 around 16. So let me input 16 centimeter. You can check keep aspect ratio. So what it does is it will adjust the height according to the width, also ensuring that all the layers are included within the page. But if you want a specific height, you can uncheck it and enter your own height. For now, let me keep it checked because I want to show you something else later on. I hit OK, and nothing seemed to change. A little bit changed. But now if I click for this size, since I kept the fixed factor to be 1, uh, the size remains same relatively. But now you can see that the size is 8. So that's the reason why we saw the font to be smaller in the Word file. So let me change all of this to size 12. Let me remove bold too in the meantime. Yeah, size 12. So let me pause for a moment until I do this. All right, I did a few changes to this graph. Yeah, I don't see my axis title. Yeah, that's done. Okay. So I want this to be applied to all the graphs. So what I can do is I copy format or format. Here, let me show you something else, page format advanced. Since I selected all, now I have these several options. I can ask everything to be applied to all the layers in this graph. Uh, that would be a problem, which I want you to experience for yourself. So for now, let me select all style formats and text formats. I want it to be applied to this graph, and I want it to apply to all graph layers. So if I hit on apply, yes, yeah, several changes happen. You could also see that my styling of the plot has also changed. So I'll take a moment to revert it back. That's too much. I let the size be as it is. Mm, this is too close, so I can move this out slightly. Sorry, I'll move that in slightly. And even this is a bit tall, so I can select this, click on, no, I have to do the other way around. To click this first, then this, yeah. So the second I'll move to the first uh, first selection, and yeah, even these are too close. I can move this to the left a bit. I hit left arrow. Yeah, this looks good. And yeah, uh, now I can click fit layers to page. So what it does is, you see the gray, light gray outer line that you see is the page that we have, and the size of the graph, including all layers, is the white space that we have here. So we have some extra space remaining. So if I hit fit layers to page, it asks me how much margin do I want, and I can also uh, make sure the layer aspect ratio is maintained. If I check this, for now I'll let it free. You see that the white space almost completely covers the page. And if I double click on this white space, you see that the width of the page is still 16 centimeter. But I don't want the size or the height of the layer to be this much, so I can go into size and let me reduce it to 20. Now copying this dimension, pasting it to other graph doesn't work well, so I have to go in and individually change their size. Okay, now that I've done that, uh, I can select that, move it up. Let me beautify this a bit. All right, this looks good for now. Now you see I have this much empty page, but again if I click on fit layer to page, you'll see that it just reverts back. So what I can do right now is click on fit page to layer, so it will shrink the page to fit the layer. Again I will give tight so that I don't want any extra margins to cover, but you'll see that even the width will adjust. So I think I can simply click height only. Yes, as you can see, the height is now corrected. The We have a little bit space on the width, which is something that I had given earlier. So if I click here again, the size is 12 and the page dimension width is 16. The height has now changed to 8.5. Now let me export it to Word. So as I said before, since I already have a Word file open, it asks me to send to open Word document. If I have multiple Word documents, I can select which document do I want. Since I have only one document right now, it just showed me one option. So let me select this graph, and yeah, that's it. So let me export it, and done. And where do I have it? Yeah, this is where I have it. What happened to the original? Okay. So let me align it to center, and already you see the difference. Again, if you see, this not aligned properly. Yeah. So the size of the graph is within the margin of the page, and the size of the text elements of the graph is, exactly matching with the text size of the word. You can see it's still in Times New Roman, and that's how you uh, arrange your page in Origin. So this part of the video you can think of it as a bonus content. Now I will show you how to animate your graphs for presentations. I actually came across this because I was simply browsing through all the options here and I saw a slideshow of graphs. And I saw that once I um, click it, it showed me some animated graphs. Not for all, at least for some. So I wondered whether I could get such an animation to show it in PowerPoint presentations. So I went into Add Apps and simply browse through different applications available in this App Center. And I stumbled across this application called Graph Anim. I won't go into detail of how to do different animations. You can add this app yourself and click this question mark, and this HTML help file will show you the different parts of this um, animation, like the animation window and what how it works, or at least what to do for each of them. I encourage you to do try different things and see what's best for your graph. Um, for now, just for demonstration purpose, let me simply show what this does for this graph. So this one I can name and save it wherever I want. Let me just simply save it to desktop. Let me give a name and mm, let the animation order be simultaneous. Let the animation effect be draw. Uh, no options here. You can preview and see how it shows up. Okay, but previews are usually slower. You could see that the animation will play for 1.26 seconds. I can increase the number of frames. Let's say I do 100, then it will play for 16.31 seconds at 16 fps. I can change it to, let's say, let me change it to 30, so it will run for 20 is the maximum. All right, so it will play for 5 seconds. So let me click, let me click OK. So it will take a moment to render all the frames. While it is rendering, uh, a hidden workbook will appear and in backup. This is just for uh, preparing this GIF or GIF file. I don't exactly remember which is the correct one. Anyway, so this will appear. Don't change it, don't delete it, and even a DOS window will open up once this is finished. Do not close it. It will close automatically, and do not be afraid that something else happened. And one more thing, that you can't make this animation for any kind of locked folders. That is, if you put any kind of formula in your for your columns, then you'll see that a green lock option appears to show that the column is locked. Then you can't do your calculation for such, sorry, you can't do animation for such locked columns. So the column has to be unlocked. And yeah, basically recalculate mode none. And also, this won't work if you use connector for importing your data into Origin, because again, if you're using connector, then the rows can't be manipulated, and this animation works by manipulating the rows. No data is changed, just for animation uh, the rows need to be manipulated because it's plotted each time. So that's how that graph anim uh, application works. uh, as I said, there's a creator. uh, the creator has explained everything nicely here, so you can go through it. Now if I open PowerPoint and bring in, it creates two files, one initiation file. uh, Basically it shows an empty picture, and then the gif file, and you see that now you have a smooth animation playing in your presentation. Yeah. That's how you could do animation in Origin. So I think that's all topics covered that I knew about Origin.
So that's all what I wanted to show you in importing and plotting graph in Origin. I hope that you use this in your plotting and research. And I also hope that you teach this on to your juniors or maybe even seniors so that even they could improve their quality of life in their research. Okay. Thank you for attending. And I hope it was useful. Uh, any questions by far? Yeah. Yes. So can we state that? Yes, yes. Just like how template files could be shared, user even those things could be also be shared. Again, it will be in the user files folder, and the same thing could be copied and pasted into someone else's computer. As that. But I would recommend against it. You can give it to your MSc students, but as research scholars, I want all of you to be independent and learn this because it will be useful in your futures too. Okay, instead of relying upon someone else. So I expect all of you to create your own user files. Anything else? Any questions from online? Okay. If not, we'll end here. Thank you for attending.